Hi, I am Marjorie Vitabiso.
Hi, I am Mariana Nicola.
Hello, I am Christian Hubert Garcia.
We are the reporters of Unit 7, Sexual Self.
Hello everyone! Our presentation today is about Unit 7, Sexual Self, and I hope you find it informative and engaging. Hi again! Generally, this is the list of the coverage topics under Unit 7, Sexual Self. These topics are objectives, reproductive system, human sexual cycle and psychosexual stages, biology of love and chemistry of love, diversity of sexual behaviors, sexually transmitted diseases, and methods of contraception. In general, the introduction of the Unit 7 Sexual Self is about the objectives of the unit and the meaning of the word sexual self. Let's tackle first the three objectives. So in this unit, we will elaborate the theory of love, biology of love, and chemistry of love. Second, we are going to discuss the different types of sexually transmitted diseases. And the third and the last one will explain the methods of contraception. Now, let's go back to the main topic, the sexual self. Sexual self also refers to the totality of oneself as a sexual being, including positive and negative concepts and feelings. More than that, the sexual self is a person's understanding and self-identity in regards to their own sexual characteristics, such as gender identity, sexual orientation, and sexual abilities and worth. Sinasabi rito na ang sexual self ay ang pagkakakilanlan at pag-unawa ng isang tao sa kanyang sariling sexual na katangian, tulad ng pagkababae o pagkalalaki. Ang sexual self din ay ang pagpapakita ng tiwala at komportableng pakiramdam sa sariling sexual na abilidad at halaga. According to theorists, sexual self-concept is described well along three dimensions. Snell and Papini, 1989. Those three dimensions are sexual self-esteem, sexual depression, and sexual preoccupation. Ayan, we're going to talk about the three dimensions of sexual self-concept. Sexual self-esteem. When we say sexual self-esteem, it refers to one individual's level of confidence and comfort in their own body, sexual abilities, and worth. Sexual self-esteem, tumutukoy ito sa tiwala at komportableng pakiramdam ng isang tao sa kanilang sariling sexual na abilidad at halaga. Pag mataas ang sexual self-esteem ng isang tao, mayroon siyang positibong sexual na mga karanasan. Habang pag mababa naman ang sexual self-esteem, maaaring magdulot ito ng sexual na kaba, pag-iwas at hindi kasiyahan ng isang tao. The next one is sexual depression. Sexual depression is a form of depression that affects a person's sexual function and desire. It can manifest as a decreased libido, difficulty achieving or maintaining an erection or arousal, and decreased enjoyment of sexual activity. Ang sexual depression ay ang negatibong pagbabago sa sexual na interes o aktibidad ng isang tao. Ilan sa mga signs dito ay ang pagkawala ng gana sa mga sexual na mga bagay, nahihirapan sa pag-perform, at kawalan ng kasiyahan sa mga sexual na aktibidad. Sexual preoccupation. Sexual preoccupation means it is an excessive focus on sexual thoughts, fantasies, or behaviors to the point that it interferes with other aspects of a person's life. Sa madaling salita, pag sinabing sexual preoccupation, ito yung nilalamon na sexual thoughts and sexual desires yung isip na isang tao. Example nito is yung pagpalaging nag-iisip ng porn or mga sexual na mga bagay whereas nakaka-apekto ito negatively sa other aspects ng buhay ng isang tao.
Reproductive system. Reproductive system is the system of organs and parts which function in reproductive consisting on the male especially of the testes, penis, seminal vesicle, prostate, and urethra, and in the female especially of the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, and vulva. Ang reproductive system ay isang koleksyon ng mga organs at nagpo-produce ng mga hormone na nagtutulungan upang lumikha ng buhay. Ang pagpaparami sa mga tao involves fusion of male and female gametes na ginagawa sa kanilang reproductive system. Makikita natin sa picture ang reproductive system. And the male reproductive system, which includes the testes, which produce sperm, penis, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory ducts, and urethra. While the female reproductive system naman consists of ovaries, which produce eggs or oocytes, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, vagina, and vulva. Ang human reproductive system is consist of reproductive organs. Ano ang reproductive organs? Both male and female reproductive organs have internal and external structures. Reproduction organs are considered to be either primary or secondary organs. The primary reproductive organs are the gonads, the ovaries, and testes, which are responsible for gamete, the sperm and egg cell, and hormone production. The other reproductive structures and organs are considered secondary reproductive structure. Secondary organs aid in the growth and the maturation of gametes and developing offspring. Within the context of producing offspring, the reproductive system has 4 functions. First is to produce egg and sperm cells, to transport and sustain these cells, to nurture the developing offspring, to produce hormones. Meron tayong primary reproductive organs. Ito ay ang ovaries and testes. Ito ay nagpo-produce ng sperm and egg cell. In human reproductive process, mayroong 2 uri ng sex cell o gametes. Ang male gamete o ang sperm at ang female gamete o ang egg cell. Ito ay nagtatagpo sa reproductive system ng babae. Kapag ang sperm ay nag-fertilize o nakasalubong na yung egg cell or nag-fusion na sila, ang fertilized na itlog na ito ay tinatawag na zygote. Ang zygote ay dumadaan sa isang proseso ng pagiging isang embryo at pagkatapos nun ay may pagbuo na ng isang fetus na lumalaki sa matres ng isang babae sa panahon ng kanyang pagbubuntis.
Let's go to the next topic, biological changes in men and women. Fertility is one of the major differences between men and women. On one hand, men are continuously fertile from puberty to almost up to 100 years of age, even though by that time, they are physically unable to engage in sexual activities. Their sperms are still viable, but poor in quality. Men are fertile this long because there is a continuous production of sperms through the process called spermatogenesis. Women, on the other hand, are fertile for roughly 12 hours each month, from menarche up until they are in their 50s, when menopause begins for most women. Fertility for them are limited because they have a set number of eggs. During fetal development, there are initially 3 million to 4 million follicles or eggs present, but through the process of apoptosis or cell death, that number drops to about 1 million eggs by the time of birth. This cell depletion will continue throughout the female's life. Even though the fertility process for men and women are basically hormone-driven, with both beginning with the release of a hormone from the hypothalamus. The fertility process is a little more complicated for women and involve several critical steps with other hormones to progress from beginning to end of the menstrual cycle. Ang biological changes sa babae at lalaki ay magkaiba. Ang biological changes ay tumutukoy sa mga natural na pagbabago sa katawan na nangyayari sa panahon ng pagdadalaga at pagbibinata hanggang sa pagtanda. Sa mga kababaihan, maaaring magdulot ito ng pagbabago sa menstrual cycle, pagkakaroon ng mga menopausal symptoms, at pagbabago sa sexual na mga gawain. Sa mga lalaki naman, maaaring magdulot ito ng pagbabago sa testosterone levels, pagbabago sa sexual na mga gawain, at pagkakaroon ng mga andropausal symptoms. Ang mga biological na pagbabago ay maaari ring magdulot ng mga pagbabago sa kalusugan, pagkakaroon ng medical condition, at pagbabago sa pag-iisip at pag-uugali. Hormone Replacement Therapy, or HRT, is a treatment to relieve symptoms of the menopause. It replaces hormones that are at a lower level as you approach. On behalf of that, the aim of HRT is to relieve menopausal symptoms and protect against osteoporosis. Hormone replacement therapy can be given by a tablet, gel, patch, or implant. Ang hormone replacement therapy or HRT ay isang uri ng medical treatment na nagbibigay ng artificial hormones sa mga kababaihan upang mapalitan ang mga natural na hormones na nababawasan sa panahon ng menopause. Ang layunin ng HRT ay upang mapababa ang mga sintomas ng menopause at maprotektahan ang kalusugan ng osteoporosis. Ang HRT ay maaaring ibigay sa pamamagitan ng tablet, gel, patch, o implant. And now, we're going to discuss about human sexual cycle and psychosexual stages. Human sexual cycle. The human response cycle refers to the sequence of physical and emotional changes that occurs as a person becomes sexually aroused and participates in sexually stimulating activities. Ipinaliwanag dito na ang human response cycle ay tumutukoy sa sunod-sunod mga pagbabago o proseso sa katawan at emosyon ng isang tao na nangyayari habang nagiging sexually aroused or excited sa mga bagay na may kinalaman sa sexual na aktibidad. Dagdag pa, since ang human sexual cycle ay ang natural na pag-unlad ng mga proseso sa katawan ng isang tao na nagiging way para makapag-reproduce. Ito ay nag-i-include ng menstrual cycle sa mga babae at testicular cycle sa mga lalaki. Ang menstrual cycle ay tumatagal ng average na 28 na araw at nagiging daan din para sa isang babae na makapagbuntis. Ang testicular cycle ay nagpapahinto naman sa mga lalaki na mag-produce ng sperm. Well, in fact, this is first formulated by William H. Master and Virginia E. Johnson in their book back in 1996, The Human Sexual Response, where they proposed the phases of sexual response cycle in human sexual interaction. Phases of the sexual response cycle. The model is also known as EPOR model. The sexual response cycle has 4 phases. EPOR stands for E is for excitement, P is for plateau, O is for orgasm, and R is for resolution. As we can see sa right side, there are 2 images. Sa pinakataas, ganyan yung image ng typical male sexual response, while sa babang image, those are 3 basic variations sa female sexual responses. Bale, mas marami yung sexual responses ng babae kaysa sa lalaki. Ang sexual response cycle ay isang modelo ng mga pagbabago sa physiological na nangyayari sa panahon ng sexual arousal at sexual activity. So, going to the next one, i-highlights na natin yung 4 phases of the sexual response cycle. Now, I'm going to elaborate each phase. Phase 1, excitement. This is also known as arousal phase or initial excitement phase. It is the first stage of human sexual response cycle. This phase occurs as a result of physical or mental erotic stimulation in the form of kissing, petting, and caressing. This phase is characterized by physical and psychological arousal and may include increased heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration, as well as engorgement of the genitalia and the production of lubrication in men and women. Bale sa excitement phase, dito nagaganap ang mga lambingan, halikan at ang paghawak sa maselang parts ng katawan. Dito rin nagsisimulang pumilis ang tibok ng puso, whereas nagpapahira para sa daluyan ng dugo sa genitalia. At dito na rin nagkakaroon ng lubrication or pagkabasa sa loob ng vagina ng isang babae. Phase 2, plateau. Once you reach the excitement, come the next phase, which is plateau stage. The plateau phase is the period of sexual excitement prior to orgasm. The phase is characterized as the peak level of excitement. In this phase, physical arousal continues to increase, leading to increased genital engorgement and muscle tension. This phase is often referred to as the point of no return. Sa plateau phase, ang physical arousal ay nagpapatuloy at hanggang sa umabot sa pinakamataas na antas, which means sa babae, ang vagina ay nagiging fully lubricated at nagkakaroon ng engorgement, habang sa lalaki, ang penis o kanilang ari ay tumitigas and at the same time, tumatayo. I see. Kaya pala this phase is referred as the point of no return. Another phase, phase 3, orgasm. The orgasm is the climax of the sexual response cycle. It is the shortest of the phases and generally lasts only a few seconds. During orgasm, there is a release of sexual tension through rhythmic contractions of the genital muscles, leading to feelings of intense pleasure. Ayan, orgasm phase. Siyempre sa phase na ito, nagaganap ang climax at peak ng sexual excitement sa nangyayaring sexual intercourse. Bale sa babae, ang orgasm ay maaaring nangyari sa pamamagitan ng stimulation ng clitoris o sa loob ng vagina. Habang sa lalaki, ito ay nangyayari sa pamamagitan ng pagpapalabas ng semen sa kanilang ari. Grabe, ito yung climax na mapapasabi ka, feels like heaven. Joke. So ayan, moving on. And here comes the resolution phase. Phase 4, resolution. During resolution, the body slowly returns to its normal level of functioning. This phase is marked by a general sense of well-being, enhanced intimacy, and often fatigue. After orgasm, the body returns to its pre-arousal state with decreased heart rate, blood pressure, and genital engorgement. Ito ang huli at tinatawag na afterglow phase, kung saan nagaganap ang physical at psychological relaxation. Ayan. Yung katawan dito is nagre-relax na lang and pumapalik sa normal. Sa lalaki, mayroong refractory period na kung saan hindi muna ulit sila mag-masturbate or makikipag-sex na ilang oras, habang sa babae, maaaring magpatuloy sa pag-arousal o mag-relax depende sa sitwasyon. That's it guys, we're done sa 4 phases of sexual response cycle. Mukha naman nasundan nyo? Hope may natutunan. But before we proceed, it's important to note that the sexual response cycle can vary from person to person and can be influenced by many factors, such as age, hormonal status, individual preferences, and relationship dynamics.
Psychosexual stages and erogenous zone. Libido is considered a psychic force or energy that motivates individual into action. As a child begins to develop, the libido manifests in the different part of the body, which he called erogenous zone. Ito po sa libido, isa sexual, nangyayari po to sa isang tao kapag na-arouse po siya into something or someone. Yung erogenous zone naman po, ito po yung part ng body ng isang tao na kapag nahawakan, nagbibigay siya ng excitement para gumawa ng sexual activities. Fixation are conflicts or concern that persist beyond the developmental period. The conflict may be due to the need being ignored or being overindulged during the earlier period. Dito naman po sa fixation, pag nasasobrahan siya sa sexual activities, it can lead to psychological problem. Like po, for example, po yung nymphomaniac. Psychosexual stages and erogenous zone. First is oral stage. The baby's mouth is the focal point of pleasure. At this stage, children's activities are centered on the mouth, such as sucking, eating, and biting. Dito po sa stage na to, ang pinaka-activities po ng children ay nakasenter lang po sa bibig, which is yung pagkain po ng baby, pagsubo-subo po ng mga bagay. Like for example po yung chupon nga po. Next is anal stage. The stage when the children learns toilet training is the anal stage. The major source of pleasure is through the retention and expulsion of feces. Dito naman sa anal stage is yung kapag tinuturo na po yung bata kung paano dumi po sa tamang dumi yun. At yung tinatawag nga po natin potty training. Next naman po is phallic stage. This focus the erogenous zone is the genitals and the pleasure derived from fondling them. This is the stage where children begin to see difference between male and female anatomical parts. Dito naman po sa stage na to is nalalaman po nila or napapansin nila yung pagkakaiba ng babae at lalaki. Next naman po is yung latency stage. This lasts until puberty. During this period, sexual interests are repressed. Children prepare to play with their own age and similar gender. This is a period where they build friendships and camaraderie with friends and classmates. Dito naman po sa latency stage, ito po yung stage bago po mag-puberty. At sabi rin po dito na kapag ganitong stage daw po, mas prepare daw po sila makapaglaro sa kasame age nila at kasame gender. At sa stage din po na to, mabibuild yung friendship sa mga friends or classmates mo. And lastly is genital stage. The sexual feelings begin to re-emerge in the final stage of psychosexual. This stage is called genital stage. It starts from adolescence until death. The focus during the genital stage is on mature adult sexuality, which would define. Dito naman po sa genital stage, dito po sa stage na to is, dito mo na mararamdaman kung may romance feeling ka sa taong gusto mo. At dito na sa stage na to, dito na rin lalabas ng pagiging mature mo kasi isa ka ng adult. Biology of love and attraction. Attraction is more physical and external. It varies depending on person preferences. Ayun nga po, nakadepende to sa kung anong mas prepare mong tao. Attracted can be an initial phase that leads to liking and loving. At ito rin po nag-lead kung gusto mo ang isang tao or may romantic feeling ka sa kanya. Love refers to a vast and complex territory of human behavior. Yung love po is malawak at komplikado. A feeling of strong or constant affection for a person. Yun nga po, may affection ka sa taong yun. Attraction that includes sexual desire. Yun nga po, kasama rin po dito yung sexual desire. A person you like or love in a romantic way. Ito nga po yung taong gusto mo or mahal mo in a romantic way. Theory of love. Robert J. Sternberg described the triarchic theory of love. This is a paradigm of love as illustrated: passion, intimacy, and commitment. Passion is a physical or sexual attraction to another. Yan nga po, dito is na-attract ka sa physical attraction na halimbawa, nagagandahan ka sa kanya. Next is a strong sexual or romantic feeling for someone. Yun nga po, may romantic feeling ka sa taong yun. Is an intense emotion or a compelling enthusiasm or desire for someone or something. Next is intimacy. Is a emotional feelings of warmth, closeness, and sharing in a relationship. Yun nga po yung closeness nyo sa isa't isa kasi nga po, nagmamahalan nga kayo. The state of having a close personal relationship or romantic relationship with someone. Yun nga po, nasa romantic relationship ka sa taong yun. Next is commitment. Is our cognitive appraisal of the relationship and our intent to maintain that relationship even in face of problem. According to the theory, it is a feeling of attachment, closeness, and connectedness. Sometimes, this feeling develop and lead to passion, fiery depth, and intense feeling you get when you like someone. It encompasses the drive connected to both combines and sexual attraction. Ito nga po sa commitment, magkasama po dito yung romantic and sexual attraction. It involved commitment, it come into the two lovers together. Involved nga po dito yung commitment kasi parehas po kayong gustong pumasok sa relasyon. It is a decision to remain with one another and plan made in the future. Dapat nga po dito is meron po kayo laging mutual decision kasi parehas po kayong nag-commit sa relasyon. At dito rin po pumapasok yung mga plano nyo for future.
Triangular theory of love. The triangular theory of love is a theory of love developed by Robert Stenberg in the context of intrapersonal relationships. Each corner has its own type of love and provides different combinations to create different types of love and labels for them. The shape of the triangle functions to represent the style of love which may vary over the course of the relationship. Una, ang non-love. Ang non-love can refer to the absence of a loving relationship. Ito ay hindi nagko-contain ng any component of love and there is no significant connect between people. Ayon kay Stenberg, ang non-love ay makikita natin sa mga casual interaction in our daily lives and characterize the large majority of our personal relationship. Ang example ng non-love is yung relationship natin sa ating mga acquaintance o mga kakilala. Next is the friendship. Friendship can include the intimacy point of the triangle, which is when the intimacy component of love is present in the relationship, but the passion and the commitment components are not. Sinasabi ni Stenberg na ang intimate liking or friendship ay characterized through friendship, kung saan ang isang tao ay nakakaramdam ng bondedness, warmth, and closeness with another, ngunit walang matinding pagnanais at sinasabi rin na ang liking ay makikita sa isang relasyon in our daily lives that we refer to as friendship. Example of friendship or liking is yung close or good friend mo sa school, sa work, or sa neighborhood nyo. Next is the infatuated love. Ang infatuated love ay passion na walang intimacy o commitment. Ang infatuated love ay maaaring tumutukoy sa mga damdamin ng pagmamahal na hindi nasusuklian o yung mga one-sided love or other intense passionate feelings in the early stages of a relationship. Ito ay tinuturing na puppy love o mga relasyon na hindi pa nagiging seryoso. Ang romantic relationship ay kadalasang nagsisimula bilang infatuated love at nagiging romantic love habang nagkakaroon ng intimacy sa paglipas ng panahon. At kung hindi nagkakaroon ng intimacy o commitment, ang infatuated love ay maaaring mawala na lang bigla. Next is the empty love. Ang empty love includes commitment point pero hindi kasama ang passion o intimacy that other point of love have. Ang empty love ay maaaring katangian ng isang relasyon tulad ng isang arranged marriage, kung saan ang both parties ay sumang-ayon to commit to one another, ngunit hindi pa sila nakakaramdam ng anumang passionate or intimate feelings towards each other. Next is the companionate love. Ang companionate love generally includes intimacy at commitment but not passion. Ang companionate love ay madalas na makikita sa mga marriage kung saan ang passion ay nawala na sa relasyon, ngunit ang isang deep affection at commitment ay nananatili. Ang companionate love ay isang personal relation na binuo mo sa isang tao you share your life with, ngunit walang sexual o physical na pagnanais. Next is the fatuous love. Ang fatuous love includes the points of passion and commitment but not intimacy. Ang fatuous love ay maaaring tumutukoy sa isang whirlwind romance kung saan ang dalawang tao ay mabilis na umiibig at nagpapakasal kahit na hindi pa gaanong kilala ang isa't isa. Isang halimbawa nito ang mga love at first sight at ang mga relasyon na ito ay may lack aspect of love at ang kanilang relasyon may therefore be more likely to fail. Lastly, ang consummate love. Ang consummate love ay ang kumpletong anyo ng pag-ibig. It has all the 3 points of intimacy, passion, and commitment. Ayon kay Stenberg, ito ay karaniwang nailalarawan bilang ideal version of love, while consummate love ay may make for the ideal relationship. In practice, it may be hard to sustain indefinitely. Consummate love ay theorized to be the love associated with the perfect couple. Ayon kay Stenberg, these couples ay magpapatuloy na magkaroon ng great relationship 15 years o higit pa, at hindi nila ma-imagine ang kanilang sarili na mas masaya sa nakasama ang iba. Ang mga ganitong uri ng relasyon ay makikita na sa mahabang panahon o sa mga idealistic relationship na makikita sa mga movies. 3 categories of love according to Dr. Helen Fisher. According to researcher Dr. Helen Fisher, love can be divided into 3 stages. Each category is governed by a set of hormones. First is lust, the craving for sexual gratification driven by the androgen, testosterone, and estrogen. Ang unang utos ng pag-ibig ay ang lust. This is an integral part of love. Ang lust ay maaaring tukuyin bilang isang estado na matinding sexual na kasiyahan sa ibang tao. Ang pakiramdam na ito ay nabuo dahil sa ating likas na hilig ng tao na mag-asawa at magkaanak sa isang kapareha. Some signs of lust are: you are focused on their body and looks. You are interested in sex but not in conversation. You are not interested to discuss real feelings. You do not want to spend quality time with them. And when you're in the stage of lust, you feel physically attracted and drawn to the objects of your affection. Ang lust ay primarily driven ng mga hormones na testosterone sa mga lalaki at estrogen naman sa mga babae. Ang lust ay nangyayari sa iba't ibang uri at maaaring bahagi ng pangunahing drive upang makahanap ng kapareha upang maikalat ang ating mga genes. At ang lust ay driven para sa sexual na kasiyahan. Ang batayan para dito ay nagmumula sa ating pangailangang magparami, isang ibinabahagi sa lahat ng nabubuhay na bagay. Pamamagitan nito, ipinapasa nila ang kanilang mga genes at sa gayon ay nakakatulong sa pagpapatuloy ng buhay. Second is the attraction. passionate love driven by high dopamine and norepinephrine levels and low serotonin. In this stage, nagsisimula tayong mag-isip ng hindi makatuwiran at gawing ideal ang ating mga kasintahan. Ang attraction ay nag-uugnay sa mga damdamin ng excitement, wanting emotional connection, at intrusive thinking. Nalaman sa isang pag-aaral na ang physical na anyo ay mahalaga sa mga tao at ang ilang mga certain features ay mukhang kaakit-akit sa mga individual at kultura. Ang mga kemikal sa utak na nagmamahala sa passion ay ang norepinephrine, dopamine at phenylethylamine. The initial stages of feeling good when meeting someone is attraction and not love. Gayunman, maaaring maglaho ang attraction sa paglipas ng panahon. Halimbawa, maaari kang maakit sa isang tao para sa kanilang kagandahan, talento o personalidad. Ngunit higit pa rito ang love. Attraction is mainly governed by the hippocampus, hypothalamus, and anterior cingulate cortex of the brain, na kapag na-activate, ang mga rehiyong ito ay maaaring significantly reduce defensive behavior and anxiety and increase trust towards the romantic partner. Sabi na ang attraction is driven by high dopamine and norepinephrine levels and low serotonin. Ang dopamine na ginagawa ng hypothalamus ay isang particular na publicized na player sa pathway ng reward ng utak. Ito ay inalalabas kapag gumagawa tayo ng mga bagay na maganda sa pakiramdam natin. Sa kasong ito, kasama sa mga bagay na ito ang paggugol ng oras sa mga mahal sa buhay at ang pakikipagtalik. Ang mataas na antas ng dopamine at isang kaugnay na hormone, ang norepinephrine, ay inilalabas sa panahon ng pagkahumaling or attraction. Ang mga chemical na ito ay nagdudulot sa atin ng pagkahilo, energetic at euphoric na humahantong sa pagbawas sa serotonin. Ito ay isang hormone na kilala na kasangkot sa gana at mood at nagreresulta ito sa pagbaba ng gana sa pagkain at hindi pagkatulog na nangangahulugang maaari ka talagang magmahal o mapagmahal na hindi ka makakain at hindi makatulog. Pangatlo ang attachment. The sense of calm, peace, stability one feels with long-term partner, driven by hormones oxytocin and vasopressin. Sa yugtong ito, the passion for each other turns into attachment towards your significant other. Ang mga hormone na responsable para sa yugtong ito ay ang oxytocin, endorphins at antidiuretic hormones. Nalaman ng isang pag-aaral na ang sexual na aktibidad ay isang mahalagang bahagi sa pagpapalakas ng sistema ng utak at ito ay nakaka-impluwensya sa pagpapalakas ng attachment. Ito rin ay humahantong sa pagtaas ng antas ng dopamine sa utak. Ang oxytocin ay nagtataguyod ng pagbubuklod at pagtitiwala, tumutulong sa pagbuo ng pangmatagalang pag-ibig o relasyon. Ang love ay madalas na kumukupas, ngunit ang attachment ay patuloy na nananatili at tumutulong sa iyo to feel more secure and safe. Ang oxytocin ay madalas na binansagan na cuddle hormone. Para sa kadahilanang ito, tulad ng dopamine, ang oxytocin ay ginagawa ng hypothalamus at inilalabas sa malalaking dami sa panahon ng pakikipagtali, pagpapasuso at panganganak. Kasama sa attachment ang pagnanais na gumawa ng long-lasting commitment sa iyong minamahal. Ito ang punto kung saan maaari kayong lumipat ng magkasama, magpakasal at magkaroon ng mga anak. Maaring pagkalipas ng ilang taon sa isang relasyon kapag bumaba ang dopamine at bumaba ang atraksyon, at kung maaari ang maayos ang mga bagay-bagay sa isang relasyon ay mapapalitan ito ng mga hormone na oxytocin at vasopressin na lumilikha ng pagnanais na makipag-bonding at alagaan ng iyong kapareha. Gusto mong yakapin at maging malapit at ibahagi ang iyong mga deepest secret sa kanya at magkasama kayong magpaplano at mangarap sa inyong magiging buhay.
Going to the next topic, the diversity of sexual behaviors. Diversity of sexual behaviors refers to the wide range of ways in which people express their sexuality, including differences in sexual orientation, gender identity, sexual practices, and preferences. It acknowledges and celebrates the fact that sexuality is a complex and fluid aspect of human experience and that there is no one right way to experience or express it. Ang diversity of sexual behaviors ay tumutukoy sa pagkakaiba ng mga paraan kung paano nagpapahayag ng sexual na pagkakakilanlan ang mga tao. Ito ay kinabibilangan ng iba't ibang uri ng sexual na orientasyon, kabilang ang heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality, pansexuality, at iba pa. Additionally, it means that there should be no discrimination or prejudice based on sexual behavior, and that everyone should have the right to express their sexuality freely and safely, as long as it is consensual and doesn't harm others. In this topic, we have sexual orientation. It refers to an enduring pattern of emotional, romantic, and/or sexual attractions to men, women, or both sexes. Sexual orientation refers also to a person's sense of identity based on those attractions, related behaviors, and members in a community of others who share those attractions. Sexual orientation usually discussed in terms of three categories. First one is heterosexual, second is homosexual, and the third is bisexual. Dito ay pinalawanag ang sexual orientation. Pag sinabing sexual na orientasyon, ito ay tumutukoy sa pagkahilig sa sexual o pag-ibig sa mga tao na may katulad o ibang kasarian sa iyo. Ang ilang mga uri ng sexual orientation ay heterosexual. Ito ay tumutukoy sa isang tao na nagkakagusto sa opposite na kasarian. Homosexual naman kapag ang isang tao ay nagkakagusto sa kaparehong kasarian. Bisexual ang tawag sa tao na parehong nagkakagusto sa kapareho at opposite na kasarian. Meron ring pansexual. Dagdag na rin to, ito naman yung tao na nagkakagusto sa lahat ng uri ng kasarian. Ang pagkakakilanlan sa sexual orientation ay personal at hindi dapat ipagbawal. The second one is biological sex. Biological sex is the label that you're given at birth based on medical factors including your hormones, chromosomes, and genitals. Most people are assigned male or female, and this is what's put on their birth certificates. Ang biological sex ay ang katauhan ng isang tao na base sa kanyang anatomy at reproductive system. Sa karaniwan, tinutukoy ang biological sex bilang male o female ayon sa presence o wala ng mga reproductive organs na specific sa bawat kasarian. Ang biological sex ay maaaring hindi tumutugma sa gender identity ng pagkakakilanlan ng isang tao bilang lalaki o babae sa kanyang sariling pananaw at pakiramdam. The third one is gender identity. Gender identity is how you feel inside and how you express your gender through clothing, behavior, and personal appearance. It's a feeling that begins very early in life. Basically, ang gender identity ay ang pagkakakilanlan ng isang tao sa kanyang sariling pagkakakilanlan. sa kanyang sarili bilang lalaki, babae o ibang gender na hindi sumusunod sa tradisyonal na konsepto ng lalaki at babae. Ang gender identity ay maaaring hindi tumutugma sa biological sex ng isang tao at maaaring magbago sa panahon. Ang pagpapahalaga sa gender identity ay nakasalalay sa pagpapahalaga at pangangailangan ng bawat individual at hindi dapat hinahayaan o tinatawag na kamalian. The fourth one is social gender role ideology. It refers to an individual's attitudes and beliefs about the proper roles of men and women. In other words, how a person judges the appropriateness of behaviors and characteristics of men and women in our society. Ang social gender role ideology ay isang pananaw sa lipunan tungkol sa kung paano dapat tumutugon ang bawat kasarian sa mga tungkulin at kalakaran sa lipunan. Ito ay nagpapakilala sa mga inaasahang gawi, ugali at pag-uugali ng mga lalaki at babae ayon sa kanilang kasarian. At kinikilala ito bilang normal o tama. Ang social gender role ideology ay maaaring maghatid ng mga limitasyon sa pagpapahalaga sa pagkatao at pagkakataon sa pagkababae at pagkalalaki. The last but not the least is the attitude and behavior of lesbian and gay male. Until the end of the 19th century, it was generally believed that people were either heterosexual or homosexual. Today, it is more accepted to view sexual orientation along a continuum from exclusive male-to-female relations to exclusive same-sex relations rather than an either-or proposition by King, 2005. Well, dito, ang attitude at behavior ng lesbian at gay male ay hindi nagbabago dahil sa kanilang sexual orientation. Tulad na ibang tao, sila ay may iba't ibang personalidad, interest, layunin at pag-uugali. Ang pagkakakilanlan ng bawat individual ay hindi dapat ituring na isang pagkakakilanlan na batay sa kanilang sexual na orientasyon. Tulad ng napapansin natin, ang ilan sa mga lesbian at gay ay nagpapakita ng pag-uugali na pagkamahinahon, pagkamalambing, at may angking talino. Gayunpaman, hindi ito nangangahulugan na dapat lahat ng mga lesbian at gay ay magpakita ng ganitong pag-uugali. Besides, ang pagtrato sa mga lesbian at gay ay dapat pantay sa ibang tao at hindi dapat hinuhusgahan batay sa kanilang sexual orientation. Ang pagtanggol sa kanilang karapatan at pagbibigay ng pagkakataon sa kanila na maipakita ang kanilang totoong pagkakakilanlan ay maaaring makatulong sa pagtataguyod ng pagkakapantay-pantay sa ating lipunan. And that's the end of the topic about diversity of sexual behaviors. Now, let's move forward about sexual discrimination. Sexual discrimination takes many forms. Severe anti-gay prejudice is reflected in the high rate of harassment and violence directed toward lesbian, gay, and bisexual individuals in American society. Numerous surveys indicate that verbal harassment and abuse are nearly universal experiences among lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. Also, discrimination against lesbian, gay, and bisexual in employment and housing appears to remain widespread. The HIV or AIDS pandemic is another area in which prejudice and discrimination against lesbian, gay, and bisexual people have had negative effects. Early in the pandemic, the assumption that HIV or AIDS was a gay disease contributed to the delay in addressing the massive social upheaval that AIDS would generate. Bale, ang sexual na diskriminasyon ay tinutukoy bilang anumang hindi pantay na pagtrato o bias sa mga individual batay sa kanilang kasarian, sexual na orihinal o identity sa kasarian. Maaaring magdulot ito ng iba't ibang anyo, kabilang ang hindi pantay na sahod, limitadong mga pagkakataon sa trabaho, pang-aabuso at iba pang uri ng pagkaintindi o hindi pantay na pagtrato. Okay, moving forward, let's have some discussion about sexuality transmitted diseases and methods of contraception. Simulan natin sa pagtalakay about sexual transmitted diseases or STDs, also called sexually transmitted infections or STIs. These are infections that are passed from person to person through sexual contact. HIV is an STD. There are more than 25 other sexually transmitted infections that are mainly spread by sexual contact, such as vagina, penis, anal, and oral sex. Ang sexually transmitted diseases or STDs ay mga sakit na naipapasa mula sa isang tao sa ibang tao sa pamamagitan ng pakikipagtalik o sexual contact. Ang ilan sa mga halimbawa ng STDs ay chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, HIV o AIDS, at hepatitis B. Ang ilan sa mga sintomas ng STDs ay hindi nagpapakita ng malalim na mga sintomas. Kaya mahalaga na kumonsulta sa doktor kung mayroong kahinaan o pagdududa, like mga signs.
Types of sexually transmitted disease. First is chlamydia. Chlamydia is an STD caused by Chlamydia trachomatis. This bacterium only infects humans. Chlamydia is the most common infection cause of genital and anal disease globally. It is also the most common bacterial STD. Sa STD po siya galing at nagkakos po siya ng infection among both men and women. Pwede po siyang magsanhi ng permanentong damage sa reproductive system ng babae at dahil doon, pwedeng hindi na mabuntis ang babae. Next is chancroid. Chancroid is also known as the soft canker of an ulcus mole. It's a bacterial infection caused by called Streptobacillus haemophilus ducreyi. The infection causes painful sore in the genitals and is only spread through sexual contact. Dito naman po sa chancroid, ano po siya, bacterial infection naman po ito at kumakalat lang through sexual contact. At ang pwede maging bunga po nito is painful sore on the genitals at superficial ulcers. Next is crabs or public lice. Public lice manifestation are primarily spread through sexual contact. Pets do not play any part in the transmission of human lice. The lice attach to the public hair and may also be sometimes found in the armpits, mustache, beard, and eyelashes and eyebrows. They feed on human blood. The common term crabs come from the crab-like appearance of the lice. Dito naman po sa crabs or public lice, nakukuha rin po ito through sexual contact. Pwede pong makita sa eyebrows, eyelashes, or hair near on your genitals. At pwede ka rin pong magkaroon nito kapag nakikipag-share ka ng gamit sa kanya tulad ng damit or towel. Next is genital herpes. This STD is caused by the herpes simplex virus. The virus affects the skin, cervix, genitals, and some other parts of the body. These are two types. First is HSV-1, also known as herpes type 1. Next is HSV-2, also known as herpes type 2. Herpes is a chronic condition. A significant number of individuals with herpes never show symptoms and do not know about their herpes status. HSV is easily transmissible from human to human through direct contact. Most commonly, the transmission of type 2 HSV occurs through the vaginal, oral, or anal sex. Type 1 is more commonly transmitted from shared straws, utensils, and surfaces. In most cases, the virus remains dormant after entering the human body and shows no symptoms. The symptoms associated with genital herpes, if they do occur, may include: first is blister and ulceration on the cervix. Next is vaginal discharge. Next is pain on urinating. Next is fever. Next is generally feeling unwell. And lastly, cold sores around the mouth in type 1 HSV. Also, red blisters may occur on the external genital area, rectum, thighs, and Botox. This can be painful, especially if they burst and leave ulcers. Dito naman po sa genital herpes, cause rin po siya ng STD at itong virus po na to ay pwedeng maka-apekto sa skin and cervix genitals. Next is trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is a common STD that can affect both sexes. However, women are more likely to experience symptoms. The infection is caused by single-celled protozoan parasite. Trichomonas vaginalis for women. The vagina is the most common site of infection, while for men, it is the urethra. Transmission may occur either by sexual intercourse or vulva-to-vulva contact, while women may acquire the infection from either male or female sexual partners. Men nearly always become infected from having sex with women. Dito naman po sa trichomoniasis, dito naman po is parehas po na babae at lalaki pwedeng maapektuhan, pero mas nakakaranas po ng sintomas is yung mga babae. Next is HIV and AIDS. Human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, attack the human immune system, leaving its host much more vulnerable to infection and diseases. If the virus is left untreated, the susceptibility to infection worsens. HIV can be found in semen, blood, breast milk, and vaginal and rectal fluids. HIV can be transmitted through the blood-to-blood contact, sexual contact, breastfeeding, childbirth, the sharing of equipment to inject drugs such as needles and syringe, and in rare instances, blood transfusion. Dito naman po sa HIV/AIDS, ito naman po ang inaatake niya is yung immune system mo. At itong sakit po na to, hanggang ngayon wala pa rin po siyang gamot. Next is syphilis. Syphilis is the result of Treponema pallidum bacterium. It is transmitted by sexual contact, and the person passing on the infection will have syphilitic lesion. A woman who is pregnant and also has syphilis can pass on this STD to her baby, which can result on stillbirth or serious congenital deformities. Dito naman syphilis, pwede rin po mapasa ng mother yung infection sa baby niya na pwedeng maging result ng serious congenital deformities. And lastly is gonorrhea. This sexually transmitted bacterial infection usually attacks the mucous membranes. It is also known as the clap or the drip. The bacterium, which is highly contagious, stays in the warmer and moister cavities of the body. Ito pong gonorrhea, kumakalat din po siya through sexual fluid. Prevention. Sex using condom is the safest way to prevent the spread of STDs. Condoms are known as barrier contraceptives due to their presentation of a physical barrier to microbes for each oral, vaginal, or anal sex act. Use a new latex condom. Condom are available to purchase online. Yun nga po, lagi pong gumamit ng condom. Avoid using an oil-based lubricant such as petroleum jelly when using a latex condom. Non-barrier forms of contraception such as oral contraceptives or intrauterine devices do nothing to protect people from sexually transmitted infections. Yun nga po, always practice safe sex. Here are other tips you can take to reduce the risk of an STD. First is abstinence. Abstaining from any sexual act is the most effective way to avoid an STD. Ayun nga po, ang pinakamagandang gawin para hindi ka po magkaroon ng STD is huwag ka po makapagtalik. Tsaka mo na gawin yan kapag ready ka na at wala ka ng regret na mararamdaman after magawin yung bagay na yun. Next is monogamy to one uninfected partner. A long-term monogamous relationship with one person who is not infected can reduce the risk of contracting an STD. Yun nga po, ang sabi nga po dito is makakaiwas ka sa STD kung stick to one ka lang. Next is vaccinations. There are vaccinations that can protect an individual from eventually developing some types of cancer that are caused by HPV and hepatitis B. Check for infections before sexual intercourse with a new partner. Check that the partner and yourself have no STDs. Yun nga po. May vaccine na po para makaiwas sa HPV and hepatitis B na pwede pong makadevelop ng types of cancer. Next is drink alcohol in moderation. People who have consumed too much alcohol are more likely to engage in a risky behavior. Avoid using recreational drugs, which may also after judgment. Explain you want safe sex before engaging in any sexual act with a new partner. Communicate that you would only consider safe sex. Ayun nga po. Bawas-bawasan po ang pag-inom at paggamit ng mga any types of drug kasi pwede po rin dahil dun mag-engage yung mga risky behavior. And lastly is education. Parents, schools, and society needs to teach children about the importance of safe sex and explain how to prevent becoming infected with an STD, including information relevant to the LGBTQ community. Yun nga po, dapat turuan ang mga kabataan na mahalaga ang safe sex at kung anong mga dapat gawin para maiwasan ang magkaroon ng STD. And that's all for our report.
So yeah, we have come to the end of our presentation and we appreciate the opportunity to share our topics about sexual self with you. We hope it was informative and helpful. Thank you!